Hello, welcome to the Spirit Guide Communication through the Art of Divination with Bertina. Today, our podcast is going to be on who are the Ascended Masters. This Sunday on June the 2nd at 1 o'clock at Cosmic Connections, I'm going to be doing a 3-hour workshop on who the Ascended Masters are. We're going to be talking more in depth about each of these Ascended Masters. We are going to learn how to connect and listen and learn lessons from these Ascended Masters. So if you're interested in any of that, go to yourcosmicconnections.com, look up classes for Sunday, June the 2nd, or email me at bertina@bertina.org in order to learn a little bit more about these classes that I offer. Well, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I really want to talk about is the definition of who the Ascended Masters are. No matter who you speak to, you're going to get different answers about that. There is going to be ones that talk about how Ascended Masters are highly evolved spiritual beings that once walked the earth as humans, but have transcended the cycle of rebirth and ascended to a higher plane of existence. They're considered enlightened teachers. They guide humanity towards spiritual growth, enlightenment, and self-mastery. This has been kind of the way of the definition, and we're going to discuss that as well as the idea of them being spiritual beings or even deities in a little bit. But we're going to delve in a little bit more about how they are evolved spiritual beings. Many times they want to, the definition includes the fact that they've reached a level of enlightenment and mastery over both physical and spiritual realms, which means that they were human if they were both physical and spiritual. They have transcended the cycle of reincarnation, known as samsara, and in many spiritual traditions is the continuous cycle of birth, death, and rebirth that souls undergo. Having completed their earthly journeys and karmic lessons, these masters have ascended to higher planes of existence. From these elevated realms, they continue to assist and guide humanity on its collective and individual paths of spiritual growth and enlightenment. Now, a few key characteristics of the Ascended Masters is that they've obtained a profound level of spiritual enlightenment, which means that they have an expansive awareness, they understand the universal truths, they possess mastery over their physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies, and they've achieved balance and harmony against all of this aspect. And unlike ordinary souls, ascended masters have broken free from the karmic cycle of rebirth. This transcendence signifies that they have all learned all the necessary lessons and resolved all karmic debts, but they no longer need to reincarnate so that they are there. So what do they do once they transcend? Well, they tend to serve as spiritual guides and mentors for humans. They offer wisdom, healing, and support for us that seek their help. They communicate through various means, including meditations and dreams and channeling, synchronicities, and they just try to provide guidance and inspirations. Many times, this guidance and inspirations tend to embody virtues and qualities such as compassion and love, wisdom, strength, and purity. And these are central to their teaching, and it helps to help heal humanity. Now, ascended masters play a crucial role in the spiritual evolution of humanity. They were sent here to aid in the upliftment of human consciousness. They foster a greater understanding of spiritual principles, and then they encourage the development of higher states of being. The spiritual mentorship is basically the teachings and practices. Many times you're going to find that there are teachings, their teachings have been written down in books. People have channeled their teachings. And that's one of the best ways to connect with them is through their teachings and books. They tend to inspire personal transformation and help us find our own highest potential. They also offer healing energies and support to individuals facing challenges. They help you find your soul purpose. They help heal you from the things that are really heavy in this world. And then the thing is, though, is that they transcend all religion, all cultures, everywhere. They have a global transformation. They help bring peace, harmony, and knowledge to everyone, no matter what. Now, the concept of ascended masters came from various spiritual traditions in Theosophy, New Age beliefs, and Eastern philosophies. And we can go into the history of this, and it can go forever. It's one of probably the most interesting historical research that I've done in regards to religious studies. Um, the thing is, though, is that a lot of them, when you start looking at the Eastern religions, they are more, um, what would I say? Spiritual deity based in some situations, and others they are human. So, for instance, Buddha is a ascended master. It's specifically Siddhartha Gautama who attained enlightenment, and he became the first Buddha. He kind of represents, or he does represent, wisdom and inner peace, and he is the ultimate symbol of enlightenment and wisdom. His teachings focus on you trying to find a path to spiritual awakening, the cessation of suffering, the achieving of nirvana. He focuses on the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, which is the outline of nature of suffering and the path to enlightenment. A lot of his connections and how he works with people is through mindfulness, meditation, teaching us how to live ethically and to attain inner peace and liberation. He did find, he was the concept of Buddhism. He is not a god in the Buddhist traditions. He is the teacher, and he helps lead Buddhists and those who practice Buddhism to a spiritual awakening, one that basically transcends nature of like the nature of suffering, and helps us really focus on the spiritual thought and path. Now, this is the thing. His teachings continue to go on. So no matter what religion, and that's true with all of these, no matter what religion or spirituality you choose, these teachings are above all of that. They are for the human good, not for group good. They are for everyone to help become better. So you may find that there are other teachers such as Jesus is um is considered an ascended master, and the teaching that he teaches, not what man teaches that he teaches, but if you actually read his teachings, you'll see the love and the peace and the transcending of this world in his teachings. um One of the goddesses that is one of the first ones that we really learn about as being an ascended master is Kuan Yin. Kuan Yin is revered in East Asian spiritual traditions as the goddess of mercy and compassion. She embodies infinite compassion. She's known for healing, forgiveness. She brings comfort to those that are in distress. She has unconditional love, and that's what I like about her is that she teaches that these virtues of compassion, mercy, and unconditional love are essential for your healing, but also for the world's healing. And she encourages people to be kind, to forgive others, and empathy. And to me, this is probably the hardest one for me to do. Just because we get caught up in this world of things and trying to get things to let things go, to forgive and to be kind. Um, she is also a symbol of maternal care, and she really helps us to alleviate suffering as well. So she also is a goddess, much like some of the other ones that we'll see, like Hathor, Isis, both of them from the Egyptian tradition. There's Inanna, Ishtar from Sumerian Babylonian eras. And it's situations to where, if you notice, the first definition said it was humans that transcend. Well, as you go through and you start looking at a lot of the history, you're going to notice that it is a little bit, it tended to um go through and a change, because when it was in Eastern religion, it was their gods and goddesses together along with humans. When Theosophy came about, it was founded by Helena Petrovna I'm going to slaughter her last name, Blavatsky. It's kind of, I think, in the late 19th century. She started a spiritual movement that kind of brought along underlying meanings of all religious movements, and she really focused on men, ones like Saint Germain, of course, Jesus, a lot of the men that were spiritual beings, because being asexual and not really being a fan of women and other things, she tended to focus on men. But what we have noticed over the last 60, well, what year is this? 20? No, let's say 60 or 70 years, since the 1960s. That would be a little bit longer. Wow. Um, that we started bringing women back in. So we have a lot of men like Saint Germain. Saint Germain is one of the very first key figures that you ever learn about. He was a European. He was known as the Wonder Man of Europe, but he is associated with the violet flame of transmutation. He's associated with alchemy, and he talks a lot about personal freedom. He teaches that spiritual energies can change negative into positive ones. And so he was really very famous and popular during this time when Helena was talking about Theosophy. Um, Jesus, of course, like I've said before, was one that was central to Christianity, but other people tend to connect with him. There's Elmora, who was considered a master of divine will and leadership. And he has to do with the ray of divine power and protection. So we're getting into the spiritual beings a little bit. He emphasized a lot of aligning with the divine will, strong leadership skills. A lot of people really like him, others do not, because he is very much discipline and commitment, discipline and commitment. But he states that his teachings will help govern the spirituality in your life. And he was one that was popular in Theosophy at the time. Um, Serapis Bey is the Kohen of the fourth ray of purity and ascension. Again, this one is a spiritual being. He guides individuals on the path of ascension. He holds the principles of purity, discipline, and he teaches the importance of maintaining emotion. So what you notice here is that no matter who it is, male or female, they tend to teach either masculine energy of control, discipline, controlling your emotions, where a lot of the feminine, the divine feminine ascended masters teach divine love, selfless service, compassion, forgiveness, and love, and kind of embrace more of the emotions. Mary Magdalene is probably one of my favorites, along with Mother Mary. Mother Mary is recognized as an ascended master because of compassion, grace, and healing. And Mary Magdalene is because of helping guide people on their purpose. She is considered a sacral vessel, where Mother Mary is a lot of the divine experiences. So Mother Mary tells you not to be afraid of being powerful, where Mary Magdalene will say, take that power and bring on some of your purpose. I find also that Lady Nada, who is considered an aspect of Mary Magdalene in another dimension, is an Atlantean. Now, again, here we go with the spiritual being. She is considered divine love and service, but she's also unconditional love and twin flame relationships, which is very passionate, very strong, very empowered, empowered emotion. So you have the focus of Mary Magdalene and the patience that she has in the relationships that she has with Jesus, and Lady Nada is on the other plane. One person that a lot of people have forgotten about, that is an ascended master, is Joan of Arc. She was considered an activist for her time, so she is very much, her lessons, her stories, her teachings have to do with standing up for what you believe in. Again, spiritual growth. There is Lady Venus, who is a light being that talks to those that are considered star seeds. Star seeds are people who believe that they are from another planet, or they may be another planet, or they're a being from another planet, and that they are here to help heal the earth. Lady Venus is one that helps with bringing in power and love and helping earth transcend what they are doing. Um you have, again, as I said, some of the Egyptian Mott and Hathor. Hathor is very much standing in your light, looking at your brilliance. Ishtar is one of my favorites. She is about the truth, following your heart and telling the truth. And then, of course, Isis is um, like kind of looking at your power and just knowing who you truly are. So there's a lot of these ascended masters that we tend to forget that are women as well. So basically, just to summarize, the teachings and practices of ascended masters emphasize self-mastery, spiritual growth, and then service to humanity. So how do we connect with these ascended masters? It's pretty simple. Come to my class on June the 2nd, and we'll do practices. If you can't come to the free guided meditation on Zoom on June the 4th, 5th, 6th, that Thursday. It's the first Thursday of the month, and we'll connect with the Ascended Masters. The third Thursday of the month, we will channel some specific ones. So the one on the 2nd is $75. The one on the 1st, that Thursday, is free. And then the third Thursday is $25. But what we usually do is we go through meditations, we set the intentions, we use visualizations, we use affirmations, and we also use activations to bring them in. So this is just one of the many ways that we can learn about who the ascended masters are. Now, many people are like, oh, I don't know. That's not really something that I like. But what you will find usually is that will um you will be surprised. You'll be surprised at the direction and who you want to work with. They come to you when there's lessons in the world that you need to work with, and sometimes those lessons are hard. Sometimes it's anger, sometimes it's um sometimes it's love, sometimes it's compassion, sometimes it's just letting go of this world. It's really, really hard sometimes to not be of this world, and I think that that is the lesson that mine is to kind of let go of some of the things, the daily things that we have to do, like jobs and responsibilities, and just realize those have to be done, and also continue to work on our spirituality, not just separate from those, but within those. So letting go of anger or resentment or frustration or things like that. So this is just kind of a short overview of who the Ascended Masters are, and how they can help you. There's a great book called The Divine Masters by Carl Gray. I highly recommend that book. I usually like to look at more of some of the female written books, but he actually brings in a lot of the female ascended masters, unlike a lot of the other teachers. He also has a deck called the Divine Masters. It's an oracle deck. I highly recommend that. I think that that deck really helped me see and learn a little bit more about them, and that is the deck we are going to be using in the classes with me. But again, check out my website, Bertina, BERTENA.org. Sign up for my newsletter, sign up for my classes, sign up for the monthly membership. I have a lot of things going on. I really, really, really enjoy teaching about the spirit guides and the spirit communications. Like next month is ancestral spirits. We've worked on angels and elementals and fairies this year so far, and animal guides. So we're with Ascended Masters, looking at people who were, a lot of them, just like us, and knowing that we have this chance to move forward, to be something better than what we are, something greater than ourselves, really does mean a lot. So If you have a chance, check out my website, email me if you have questions, and I will be glad to help with anything. I hope you have a great day.